I'm extremely worried about the Lakers. Even though we are only 4 games into the season, I just needed to make a quick video letting out my thoughts and opinions ahead of tonight's game versus the OKC Thunder. I'm giving a much more detailed video in the coming days on all my issues with this current team. Before I get into today's video, make sure you guys like and subscribe and drop your opinion in the comments below. I'll have a lot more videos, not only on the Lakers, but all NBA teams coming up very soon for you guys. So please hit the subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. As of today, the Los Angeles Lakers are sitting at 2-2, and because they barely squeezed out wins against the Memphis Grizzlies and the San Antonio Spurs. I think fans feel good currently because of the fact that the Lakers were able to win an overtime game against the San Antonio Spurs without LeBron, and the fact that Russell Westbrook had the first game where he actually looked good in the purple and gold uniform. First off, let's just be clear. I'm a Lakers fan and have been for a very long time, so this is not hate. It's just me giving my honest opinion based off of what I'm seeing from this team at the current time. Unfortunately, our community is plagued with impatient and at times extremely delusional fans. So before you spam the dislike button, just hear me out. Despite being 2-2 to start the season, the Lakers are in a really bad spot, and this is why. The first win of the season for the Lakers was against the Memphis Grizzlies, who are a young, overachieving team. They're led by one of the best young players in the league in Ja Morant, and they're coached extremely well by Taylor Jenkins. With all that being said, there is still no reason why the Lakers should have allowed the Grizzlies, with an average age of 24, second youngest in the league, to come off of a back-to-back on the road and lead for a good amount of the game. Not to mention that all it would have taken was for Ja to hit that last free throw, and the Grizzlies could have easily sent the game into overtime, giving us a few seconds where we could have possibly hit the game-winning shot, but the way this team has been shooting, I doubt that would have happened. As for the Spurs game, we made a run with Westbrook on the floor, and he played well then. With a little over 5 minutes left, Russ was awarded his 5th foul, so he had to be sat on the bench for a while, and Rondo began running the offense. Malik Monk hit that big 3 that put us up by 2 while Westbrook stood at the scorer's table for almost 2 minutes of game time, and the whole time I'm sitting there hoping no one fouls or calls a timeout to keep him off of the floor as long as possible, because in a game this tight, you don't want Russell Westbrook out there to throw the game away. Of course, we foul Jakob Poeltl, which brings Westbrook into the game with about 40 seconds left or so. As he attempted these free throws, Anthony Davis bumped knees with another player and was on the ground wincing in pain. I thought that in regular AD fashion, he would have to go to the bench. But this season, AD is out to prove he isn't soft, so he stuck it out and played the rest of the game, about 40 seconds. Like I said, of course Russ was able to enter the game during the dead ball for the free throws, and what does he do on the next possession down court to try to win the game? As good as the game had been for Russ, what he does on this next possession is why he can't be entrusted with the ball late in the game. As I said, AD is in pain and shouldn't have been on the court honestly with about 31 seconds left in a tied game. Russ gets it off the inbounds, and at the 28-second mark, he throws a lob to AD. Yes, Anthony Davis, the man who was just on the other side of the court grabbing his knee in excruciating pain about 2 minutes ago. You go down court in a tie game and throw a lob to a hurt player 3 seconds into the shot clock, giving the Spurs possession with a full shot clock to make a decision on how they could hit the game-winning shot. Going into more stuff, I'm not going to talk about this today, but this also has to do with Frank Vogel and his bad coaching. But this shows how bad of a decision maker Russell Westbrook is down the stretch of games, and this is why he does not have a championship, and this is why his teams do not go deep into the playoffs. That was a bonehead play. Also, Carmelo, the best shooter on the team, and the only reason why we even won the last game, is standing to Russell Westbrook's left side with space. DeJounte Murray had his eyes on Russ. So Carmelo could have got that ball, put the shot up, and we would have had a much better opportunity at going up and getting out of this game without having to go into overtime if Russ does not make that bonehead decision. Luckily, they pulled it out and Russ played fairly well in overtime. But I don't trust him in a playoff series. His decision making is atrocious. It's embarrassing, honestly, to see media outlets asking if the Lakers are now proving that they're title contenders or favorites because we barely beat a team whose average age is 25, barely better than the Memphis Grizzlies, and isn't even going to get as close to sneeze at the playoffs this upcoming season. Russ has consistently put up triple-doubles with no true success behind them, so Lakers fans, let's not get excited about barely sliding out of San Antonio with the win just because Russ had 33 points and almost put up a triple-double, because San Antonio could have easily won that game. They missed all 7 of their free throws in the fourth quarter and went 12 of 22 from the line the whole game. All it took was one more of those free throws to drop, and we would have lost despite everything that Russ did during that game. Unfortunately, I hate to say this, but if the Lakers don't meet expectations this year, it will probably be because of Russell Westbrook or Anthony Game Time Decision Davis being hurt. I have many more opinions on this season's Lakers that I'll be expressing in other videos, but just to let Lakers fans know right now, we could easily be 0-4. Going into tonight's game against OKC, I definitely see the Lakers winning. The Thunder are currently 0-4, and they're also coming off of a back-to-back just like us. But I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if AD doesn't play after last night's injury. I also could see him standing up and playing because, like I said, this season he's out to prove he's not soft. He's taking a whole bunch of shots. He doesn't like the fact that everybody was calling him A Disney at the end of last season and talking about all the injuries that he's occurred and how he hasn't been able to step it up on the court. So this season, if you haven't noticed, he's taking a whole lot more shots, playing a whole lot more aggressively, which isn't necessarily helping the team 100%, to be honest. But like I said, I'll explore all of these things in later videos. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Like I said, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.